No one knew her name. But 10 minutes later, she'd be trending across the country. The crowd started laughing before she even finished her sentence. Not a hard, cruel laugh, but that condescending kind. The kind that wraps itself in smugness. The kind that makes people shrink. The woman at the microphone, middle-aged, modestly dressed, eyes wide and searching, froze for a second. Her voice had cracked. She knew she'd lost the room. Candace Owens sat on stage, stone-faced. She didn't flinch. Not yet. This was supposed to be a normal town hall, civil if tense, a debate panel hosted by a local civic group in a red county. Candace was invited to represent conservative values. The crowd leaned heavily her way. Older, church-attending, small business types. A few familiar MAGA hats sprinkled throughout. Across the stage were two state senators and a former educator from the district. Most of the audience knew Candace was the main attraction. The woman at the mic, Renee, clearly wasn't part of the show. She wasn't dressed like a politician. She didn't have bullet points. Her words stumbled as she tried to ask her question. I, I'm just wondering, she said, what happens to the kids when we cut art and music and after-school care from schools that already have nothing? I work at one of those schools. These kids, they don't even eat if we don't feed them. And now we're debating whether they even deserve a place to go after class? Someone in the back chuckled. Another muttered, "Here we go." Renee kept going. I know I'm not polished. I know I'm not used to speaking at these things, but I see these kids every day. They matter. By now, a few heads were shaking. One man actually looked at his watch. The moderator cleared his throat, ready to move on. Candace glanced at him. He hesitated. The moderator forced a polite nod toward Renee. Thank you. Next question? Renee took a small step back. She nodded quickly, face red, and started to leave the mic. Candace leaned forward. Her voice cut clean through the low hum of the room. Wait. Everyone froze. I want to answer that. There was a pause. The crowd wasn't used to this script being flipped. Candace stood slowly, stepped forward, and spoke into the mic with the calm of someone used to command. Before we take the next question, she said, I want to speak to what just happened. The room stilled. She turned slightly toward Renee, who had stopped mid-step, now watching with uncertainty. Candace's tone was even, not angry, not soft, measured. I heard you, and I want to say thank you. Renee blinked. Candace looked around the crowd. I also want to say this, she continued. Some of you laughed. There were a few coughs. Some eyes darted. She got emotional. She didn't hit every word perfectly, and some of you took that as permission to dismiss her. Now the room was dead silent. But let me remind you, Candace said, what courage looks like. She gestured toward Renee. That woman stood up, alone in front of a crowd that didn't agree with her. She didn't come here with a team. She didn't come here with consultants or rehearsed sound bites. She came here with a trembling voice and a truth she believed in. Renee's hands clutched the straps of her bag tightly. Candace turned back to the mic. She spoke with more courage in 2 minutes than most politicians do in 2 years. Someone in the crowd whispered, wow. Candace's eyes swept the audience. We say we want open dialogue, that we want citizens to speak up. But do we? Or do we just want people who agree with us to sound smart and everyone else to stay quiet? The tension in the room shifted. I don't agree with everything she said, Candace added. That's not the point. The point is, she spoke from experience, and we owe her the same respect we'd demand if the roles were reversed. A few people nodded. Others stared at their laps. Renee hadn't moved. Her face was still pink, but her expression had changed. There was something like disbelief softening her features. Candace looked back at her. Thank you for your question, she said. It mattered. The moderator cleared his throat again, this time more carefully. Thank you, Candace. Let's, proceed to the next. But the moment had changed the room. There was no applause, no viral quote yet. Just the stillness of everyone realizing they'd missed something important, and someone else hadn't. After the event, most people trickled out quietly. The energy was more reflective now. What had started as just another political back and forth had ended in something different. Candace stayed behind, chatting with a few locals. She wasn't in a rush to leave. Some people shook her hand more firmly than usual. One older woman whispered, "That was the kind of strength we need more of." She nodded politely but didn't linger on the praise. Out of the corner of her eye, she saw Renee. She was standing alone near the side exit, holding her bag with both hands like a shield. It looked like she was trying to decide whether to approach or just disappear. Candace walked over. Renee looked up, startled. "I didn't mean to make it awkward," she blurted out. I had something to say and—" Candace raised a hand gently. "You don't owe anyone an apology." Renee swallowed hard. "I thought I sounded ridiculous." Candace shook her head. "You sounded real," she said. "That's rare." Renee blinked, her eyes beginning to well. "You didn't have to defend me. That crowd, they came to cheer for you, not someone like me." "I didn't defend you because of politics," Candace replied. "I defended you because you were brave, and because I've been you." Renee frowned, confused. Candace looked around the emptying room, then back at her. "My first speech," she said. Half the room laughed. The rest rolled their eyes. "I messed up my notes." My voice cracked, and someone tweeted, "This is what happens when you put amateurs on stage." Renee's expression softened. "That moment," Candace continued, "stuck with me for years. Not because it hurt, but because I survived it. And I remembered that tonight when I saw you." Renee smiled weakly. "You're a better woman than me. I'd have let the crowd have their way." Candace's voice lowered. "Sometimes leadership means not giving the crowd what it wants." The next morning, Candace was sipping coffee at her kitchen counter when her phone began to buzz, again and again. At first, she ignored it. Then Michelle called. "You're not going to believe what's happening," Michelle said. Candace raised an eyebrow. "Something explode. You went viral, again." Candace sighed. "For what this time?" Michelle chuckled. "Someone recorded that moment from last night. Your line about, 'We owe her the same respect we demand if the roles were reversed.' It's all over Twitter and TikTok. Even some liberal accounts are reposting it with things like, 'Maybe this is the kind of disagreement we need.'" Candace didn't say anything. Michelle added, "But that's not what's blowing up the most." "What is?" "That last line, right after the applause started." Candace tried to remember. "I don't think I said anything profound." "You did," Michelle said. "You said, 'I'm not here to win applause. I'm here to protect dignity.' That clip's got 1 million views already, maybe more." By noon, news outlets had picked it up. Headlines popped up like wildfire. "Candace Owens goes off script, defends liberal woman at town hall." Crowd laughed at her. Candace Owens didn't. A viral moment of unexpected grace. Comment sections filled with debates, praise, and surprise. "I don't like Candace, but that was class." "This is how you change minds, not by yelling but by listening." "I showed this to my mom. She cried." Even Renee posted something. Just a photo of the town hall room with the caption, "I almost didn't go up to the mic. I'm glad I did. Thank you at Real Candace." Oh, that evening Candace sat back at her desk. She opened her messages. There were hundreds, some full of gratitude, some angry, some stunned. But one stood out. It was a DM from a 16-year-old girl in Ohio. "I'm not into politics. I just saw the video of you standing up for that lady. It made me feel like maybe I don't have to be perfect to speak up. Just wanted to say thank you." Candace closed her laptop. She didn't need to post a follow-up. She didn't need to double down. She didn't need to explain. She just sat quietly for a moment. Then she whispered to herself, half smiling, "That's why we show up." They didn't remember her facts. They didn't remember her argument. But they remembered her courage. Because sometimes the moment that goes viral isn't the one where someone wins a debate. It's the one where someone refuses to let another person be humiliated. That's the moment that stays. The one that says, we can disagree, but we don't have to destroy. Not every microphone is a weapon. Sometimes it's a shield.